Shalom. Good Erev Shabbos. This is the Ger in every Parsha. This week's Parsha is a double Parsha, Vayacheil-Pekudei, and speaks mostly about the Mishkan. It's interesting. The Ari takes the first pasuk, Vayacheil Moshe es kol adas b'nei Yisrael, Vayomer alehem, that Moshe gathered all the congregation. Adas, this word adas means congregation or assembly, but it has the same letters as the word das, which is knowledge. So that teaches you a little something about knowledge. What is knowledge? An assembly of information, congregation of information. And he says that this was a rectification for them gathering around Aaron to make the golden calf. So the tikkun for that was to build the Mishkan, like is famously known from the explanation of many of the sages. So he explains that this was also a rectification for the Erev, that because the Erev instigated the incident of the sin of the golden calf, that this was a way to rectify that. Now it has very deep implications if you think about it. The Mishkan was kind of like the mobile station. When the Jews were in the desert and not in their homeland, they had to move around, so they needed a mobile tent. So that's why it's called a tent. Ohel Moed, tent of meeting. But once they got into Eretz Yisrael, they built a temple on the place that God chose. That's why it's called the Beis HaBechira, place of choosing, which is interesting if you think about it, because all of humanity has a choice. They can either follow, like Shlomo Melech says in Koheles, Hevel v'Havalim, vanity and chasing after the wind, which is basically all physical pursuits in this world outside of knowing God and serving God. And we have to choose and use our capacity, our human intellect, to make the right choice. It's Parshas Para also. You should check out the Haftorah, Yechezkel 36. I believe it's verse 16 to 28, something like that. We got to be humble, man. You know, as many times as we've messed up in the past, we can only rely on God's mercy, and we're no better than anybody else. The nations worshipped idols, Israel worshipped idols, everybody worshipped idols. Thank God humanity is getting to a place where we understand that idol worship is just not only it's just unreasonable. So one of the names of the temple is going to be the house of prayer for all nations. There's a midrash that says, a legend, Jewish legend, that says that the temple was one of the things that was built before. The idea of the temple was around before the creation of the world. Now I want you to think of something. If the temple, which is going to be called the house of prayer for all nations, that idea was around before the beginning of the world, then that would mean that the idea for the nations was also around before the beginning of the world. It wasn't some accident that the nations are here. The nations are here for a purpose, and a very important purpose. And the ultimate purpose is if the nations use their free will and their choice and choose God, the Almighty. Thanks for listening. Care in every Parsha.